Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Parth Khemka, and welcome to the sixth episode of the Unstuck Mindset Show, where we connect you with your favorite entrepreneurs who have successfully mastered the power of the mindset. Now, we all come here to share with you the insider secrets and stories of how you can also master your mindset and achieve your dreams. Before we move forward, let me introduce you to our guest, Victoria Mary Gallagher. Victoria is a worldwide leader in hypnotherapy, a best selling author, international speaker, life success coach, and re-owned authority on the law of attraction. Long story short, she has the power to change your reality with her knowledge. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome our guest, Victoria Gallagher. Thank you so much for being here, Victoria. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful. Despite all the things that are going on in the world, we've got a fire here up the street. We've
Hmm.
got coronavirus all over the place. I really am doing pretty good, and
Hmm.
I I'm in my own reality. I'm in my own
Hmm.
economy. I'm in my own, and that's kind of the way that I have lived life for the past
Hmm.
20 some odd years. I have bad
Hmm.
days, but I'm having a good day.
Right, but you also know how to control those bad days, right? And that's what
Ex-
most people don't know.
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a perspective, and it's a
Hmm.
lot of it's also about being present in this moment, which I encourage all of your guests and audience to do with us right now, is really
Hmm.
just to give your undivided attention to what we are going to be talking about here. Be right here, right now, because you will feel better as a
Hmm.
result of listening to the people that Parth is interviewing, including myself today. So it's just all here for you.
Well, I'm pumped. Thank you so much for being here once again. It would be
I
awesome.
am too. I'm
Right.
excited. I'm excited to
Mhm.
share. I'm excited to share with your audience today. Usually
Oh,
I'm on the other side of the
hmm.
of the spectrum. I've been doing a lot of interviewing guests myself
Hmm.
for my Power of Your Mind podcast, where so I'm so delighted to be on the other side of this interview today.
Hmm. So, Victoria, can you take us all the way back to the time when you didn't know about the law of attraction? Like, how did you start your journey exactly?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good question. So all the way back before I knew about law of attraction, so I was doing actually pretty well as a as a relatively successful. I mean, I had been using law of attraction unknowingly to achieve a lot of success by reading a few various different books on self-confidence, on thinking and growing rich, on all of those kinds of things,
Hmm.
that led me to ultimately becoming a six-figure a year earning financial consultant for a major brokerage firm. Something that an achievement I was very proud of at the time, that I had used unknowingly a lot of these mindset techniques that just really at that time they kind of came a little bit more natural for me. But lo and behold, I just kind of blindly was following in my father's footsteps, who was a also a successful stockbroker many years prior, and I was unconsciously just following a path that wasn't really my path. I was excited that I had achieved this goal that I had set for myself, but I realized later on this wasn't really my goal. And so as soon as I had accomplished that goal, things kind of started to fall away. I kind of felt like unhappy. I felt frustrated. I felt really anxious. I was really going through a period of time where I just had a lot of anxiety. I started feeling depressed. even though I had all of these wonderful things going for me.
Mhm.
And something like that really does go to show that, like a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of your audience, they have money as a goal. They want to earn a lot of money. They want to earn, but what I realized in that moment was like, here I had achieved success. I was earning a six-figure income. I was married. I had a beautiful house at age 28. I drove a nice fancy car, and I had everything going for me. I was in really good shape, so I had every reason to be happy, but I wasn't. And
Mhm.
so it was it was during that time that I decided to kind of start doing some soul searching. I had gone to a therapist, and the therapist had recommended that I take this personal development seminar. And so I was a little skeptical, to be perfectly honest,
Mhm.
about going. And you hear about these things, and they talk about how they're going to brainwash you, and that it's a cult, and I had heard all of those things myself, and I was a little resistant, to be perfectly honest, about going and spending 4 days of my life in some sort of crazy seminar with a bunch of people that are all like, I don't know, I
Right.
didn't know what really to expect. And but I got there, and I just kept my wits about me, and I did the exercises, and there was nothing weird. They asked you to close your eyes at times and take a deep breath and imagine certain things, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm just using my imagination. And as I was doing each of these exercises, they called them these closed eye techniques, I was releasing some things. There was some pretty deep work that we would do on going back and examining something from your past that maybe you're hanging on to, and they gave you an opportunity to let go of that. And so I was able to let go of a lot of the baggage that I had been carrying around, and I came away from that experience completely awake and aware, and really feeling in control, and really feeling good, and really feeling confident, really feeling the passion that had been shut down in me for years. And so it also, that was a good thing, but it also created a problem. And the problem
Mhm.
was that I had to really face the truth. And the truth was is that I was no longer passionate about my career.
Mhm.
And so that was a little bit scary, to be perfectly honest, to
Right.
kind of come to this realization that something I think that I'm going to do for the rest of my life, the income, and I was, putting away money every month and really getting ahead, and I kind of realized that it wasn't for me anymore. And it wasn't that I was doing anything wrong, it just, I wasn't in integrity with myself, with living my best life. And I realized that it didn't even matter how much money I would end up making. I had to change careers. I had to get into helping other people to have this same kind of realization and wake other people up, and have other people get in touch with their passion and making their dream come true. And so during this time, it was actually about a year or so after having that realization, before I realized what it was that I really, really wanted to do. I knew it was like sort of like underneath the
Mhm.
surface, because I had started making these recordings, and I started listening to myself making these recordings, and I was letting other people listen to these recordings, and they're like, oh my goodness, you have the most beautiful voice. And what was kind of cool about making these recordings was, when I was a child, the first thing that I ever wanted to do, when I was in first grade, is I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a rock
Mhm.
star. I wanted to be a recording artist. And so it was kind of cool, because I was making these meditation recordings or visualization recordings, and they were helping people, which is something that I always wanted to do.
Mhm.
And so it sort of it's sort of changed, what it was going to look like when I was, my childhood dream was to be a singer. Well, it's not singing, but in a way it is kind of the same situation, because I'm using my
Mm-hmm.
voice to transform people. Music transforms people, and so do these recordings.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this idea that I was going to create these hypnosis recordings for people for a living. And well, I told a lot of people about it. Even the person that I was using at the time to help me make the recordings, the recording engineer, I told him, yeah, I want to start a business and create a huge line of these recordings where people will buy them from a website. And they're like, you can't make enough money doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I I didn't believe that. And so I said, well, let's just see. Let's just see. It doesn't hurt to just give it a try. So I started figuring out like what it was that I needed to do to give myself the proper credentials that I needed to make sure that these things would be effective and would work on people. And so I came across in all my search for how to make meditations, how to make visualizations, how to make them effective, how to write them. I came across a hypnotherapy training course that was starting down the street, like literally within 2 weeks, and it was just a few miles down the street. I'm like, oh my God, that is it. That's exactly what I want to do. And so I started the whole process of starting my own. I got certified in hypnosis, got certified in hypnotherapy. I started the whole process of getting my business license. And here's the thing. So in the process of getting my business license, the branch manager where I worked as a stockbroker, because here I thought, I mean, doesn't everybody who kind of wants to start their own business, they think, oh, I'll just start it on the side. I'll wait until I create enough money on the side, and then I can quit my day job,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, who
Right.
wouldn't want to be able to do that? And that was my intention. I thought, I'll give it a year or so, and I'll be able to build up my business. And well, that whole idea kind of got kiboshed as soon as my branch manager got wind of the fact that I was doing this. And he calls me into his office one day, and he shows me this paperwork that he received from Clark County business license. And he's like, what is this? Are you starting a business? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just, it's just a side business. It's just okay. It's not, not going to conflict with what's going on here. And he said, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make a decision. You can't have your energy in two different places. And so you need to make a decision. And so he gave me 30 days to make a decision between. So here's the road, the path that I was on, making the six figures at this, prestigious brokerage firm. And I also had this business that was actually costing me money, not making money. It was
Mm-hmm.
costing me money. I was having to pay money for advertising contracts that I had signed. I signed a lease on an office.
Mm-hmm.
I had all of these expenses that had gone into this. And so here I am, which way do I go? Which way do I go? And so of course I chose the route of my business,
Mm-hmm.
and I quit. And it was the scariest thing that I had ever done in my life. And so now you would think, okay, well, that's you know that's going to be the happy ending right there. I just went ahead, and that's the end of the story, and I went ahead and started my business. But here's the thing. I was still pretty naive and to a lot of these concepts. Like when you first start learning about the power of your mind and law of attraction and hypnosis and the things that I was learning about, you understand this on a very surface conscious level. All
Mm-hmm.
right. You get the
Right.
concept logically, rationally,
Mm-hmm.
but until you have actually integrated that into the more powerful part of you, your subconscious mind, into your internal belief system, you're not going to be living according to the way the law of attraction actually works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why so many people, they hear about this, the secret, the law of attraction, the secret. All I have to do is just wish for something and hope for it to happen and take action. Maybe take action. Some people don't even realize that you have to take action, and you start to think like, I'm gonna wish for a lottery win. I'm gonna wish for a new car. I'm gonna wish for a new house, and if I do that long enough for 30 days or whatever, it's going to happen. But then they give up after 30 days and wow, this law of attraction doesn't work. Well, the reason why it doesn't work for a lot of people is that they haven't integrated it into their subconscious mind yet. And so here I was at that point where a lot of people are, where they hear about this great concept and they try to make it work. And I was in that exact same situation. I quit my job. I said, you know what? The law of attraction is going to save me. you know, and
Right.
and uh, and I went through a really, really bad period in my life. After quitting my job, well, I didn't even mention this to you before when we had our conversation. So, about 6 months after I quit my job, a couple of really bad things happened. Number one, I ended up in the hospital with a collapsed lung and no health insurance.
Wow.
Okay. So, I'm in the hospital for 10 days on no health insurance. And of course, I'm not able to work on my business during that time. The husband that I had told you about,
Mm-hmm.
we had gotten divorced, and we still had a lot of joint bills together, and he wasn't very good with money. I was kind of the one in our family that was really good with money. He wasn't very good with money, and so he took those credit cards and just maxed them out, not deliberately, but just
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't very good with money. He maxed them out and then he filed for bankruptcy and left me with all of the debt.
Mm-hmm.
And so here, in a matter of, I just quit my job, I've got no income coming in. I just racked up $30,000 of debt from my health uh, incident. My husband just filed for bankruptcy. That's another 25,000 plus my own debt
Mm-hmm.
that was racking up because for 6 months I'm supporting myself on my credit cards and no income coming in. And so these were some pretty scary times. And I ended up ultimately filing for bankruptcy. And things just got so bad. It just got embarrassingly bad where I'm calling my father up on the phone to, who so I had made I had made an agreement with myself many years ago that I was never ever going to come crawling on my hands and knees to beg anybody for money. But here I was, I had already filed bankruptcy, but I'm still trying to figure everything out. And, when you make a decision, you burn all the boats. And that was what I
Right.
had done. I mean, I wasn't going, I didn't feel like going back to work was even an option. Like that wasn't even like in my beingness to even go back to work. So I was in a really, really humble place. And I finally got off the phone with this one friend that I had asked if I could borrow some money from. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, here I was, this professional
Exactly.
person who, and then now here I am. I filed bankruptcy. I'm a bottom feeder. I'm begging people for money. I'd moved back in with my mom. I mean, it was a really bad time. And I'm trying to sell these programs, right? That,
Hmm.
to help people to change. You can
Change.
change your life.
Right.
You can change your life. Oh, it was awful. It was embarrassing. And I got down on my hands and knees one day to myself, and I'm just like, what have I done? Like, what is this? Why isn't this working for me? This is
Hmm.
after almost 2 years of having had this epiphany, had this life-changing experience. Why isn't this working for me? And it hit me. It hit me like nothing else had ever hit me before. I had that shining moment where I had changed my life, and I had this epiphany, but I wasn't doing the work. Once when I quit my job, I started working like 15, 18 hours a day. And I was like, there's no time to sit and listen to these life changing recordings that I
Hmm.
was making. Everybody else can listen to them, but I don't have time.
Because you were
I don't
setting
have
the
time to
business, right?
listen.
You were
Yeah,
thinking
I
that you
was
want to
just
set the business exactly.
exactly. I'm just working on my business, struggling. And so it just hit me. Oh my goodness. I am not taking my own advice here and listening to
Hmm.
these programs, which would program my mind, the most important part of your mind. So it's like when you're doing that and you don't have your subconscious mind on your side. It's like your conscious mind is like a little ant, trying to fight against Bigfoot. Your subconscious mind is like Bigfoot, and
Hmm.
if it's not on board with what it is that you want, what you desire, it's just going to be a struggle. It's going to create all these obstacles. It's not going to allow you to see how to succeed because it doesn't have success programmed as an instruction that it needs to follow. Because anything that you tell your subconscious mind ultimately to do, it's not logical, it's not rational, and that works for you or it works against you. And so I got it and I said, you know what, I'm going to start right here, right now, and I'm going to take that time. I'm going to take a half an hour in the morning and a half an hour in the evening. I'm just going to keep, I've got time.
Hmm.
I've got time to do this. And so I'm going to listen. And before too much time had passed, I started just randomly just getting ideas that I had never even really considered before about how to market my business and how to make it a success. Ideas just like, oh, put these items on sale, or um, you know, expand your offerings to include these products, or go and also open up an account and start selling on eBay and Amazon. Just
Hmm.
like things that maybe might have seemed obvious, but keep in mind the internet was pretty early on in those days. I mean, this is back in I started my business in 99. So these were not necessarily things that people were thinking about. I mean, most people at that time, they weren't even sure if the internet was going to be around forever. It was just still
Hmm.
a kind of a new thing, and a new path was being created for a lot of people to start a business online. And so I started getting these ideas and I started applying these ideas, and next thing you know, I within a few months of doing this, having this whole new mindset, I turned my first profit online. Like, all I had ever seen was, I mean, I was getting some sales before, but I just had way more expenses than the income that I was able to bring in. And I finally, finally made my first profit. And that just gave me so much validation that, you know what, these things are working. I need to keep listening. And so I would just keep listening to these programs. And I realized that the thing is that, you know, you may understand a concept intellectually and conceptually, it may make sense to you, but until, you know, I finally got it, that until my subconscious mind was bought in, which I didn't realize that it wasn't at the time. I was just naive. I kind of thought, I didn't realize I had beliefs that were keeping me from succeeding.
Mhm.
And so by changing those beliefs, I eventually turned my first profit. And of course, that was, you know, the first profit, I believe, happened about 2000, somewhere in year 2000. And here it is, 2020. And I mean, so many wonderful things have happened since then. And, you know, I've become a number one best-selling author of my book, Practical Law of Attraction. That was definitely something that I manifested. I manifested my soulmate, my husband. May 24th is going to be our 12-year wedding anniversary.
Mhm.
And, you know, there's just been so, I mean, this one story, I mean, this is one that really stands out for me as far as how I really came to understand, like really understand it. I don't think you'll understand something until you actually experience it firsthand. You experience that what I was doing wasn't working, and now the way that I am doing it is working. I mean, that is truly understanding something. And so once I understood how it worked, I was able to, and I still am able to, apply it in any area of my life that I have that solid focus on. And so
Mhm.
that's you know, it's been an amazing experience learning and growing and teaching other people how to use this amazing skill in your mind.
Mhm. And during that time when you were working hard, were you alone at that period? Like you were the only one that is struggling to, setting up your business?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
So I had moved back in with my mom, and so the two of us were kind of like roommates. I mean, I was paying rent, she was paying rent, and we lived together for a time. And the thing that was also bad about that, well, I don't, I don't know if it was bad, but the thing that was working against me was no one else really. I mean, I still, even though I didn't have the, you know, the conscious, that I didn't have the subconscious beliefs lined up with succeeding, I still knew, like, down deep inside, that eventually I would succeed. So people would tell me, you really should think about going back to work, and you should really get a
Hmm.
second job. And isn't it time to, you know, they didn't understand that if I did that, I really felt like if I did that, then I'm splitting my focus between, and I'm in a way, I'm admitting defeat, but I'm splitting my focus between the side job and the one that I really want to succeed. I mean, whatever time I would spend in a second job would be less time than I could spend on my business. So I just
Hmm.
always knew that I did have it in me to succeed in this. But it was, you know, it was hard when you have people telling you you should go back to work. Maybe
Right.
this isn't working. And um, that's the worst thing to hear. That is when you're trying to, you know,
Well, I
it
definitely can understand that. Seriously.
yeah, yeah. So it was definitely, but you know, it was my own just lack of understanding at that time that for whatever reason, I just wasn't taking my own advice and my own, you know, my own, doing my own work on myself.
Hmm.
And that's, you know, that's the thing when it comes to the law of attraction, because, you have a lot of people out there that they don't understand how the law of attraction works or what it is. They just kind of think it's a magic potion that you basically wish to a genie. The
Right.
genie, grant my wish, and if I hope hard enough that it's just going to appear before me. And so many people think of it like that. I never had it like that. I knew that it's much deeper than that. And it really just kind of comes down to the way that our mind works. Whatever you're focusing on is ultimately going to become your reality. And so even for me during that time, I'm focusing on, these these bills, this debt, I'm so embarrassed, why am I not succeeding? And I was focusing on all of the bad and the negative, and it was just almost like I just felt like a victim. I felt like, here, I've done it, I've gone after my dream, and look, it just, why is it doesn't work for me, and even though, like, there was still this part of me that was like, hang in there, Victoria, hang in there. But there was this big monstrous voice in there just saying, yeah, every time, nothing I try ever works, or I've tried everything, and I just keep banging my head against the wall, and all of these little things that I was focusing on, how it's not working, and how I just almost like just felt like I'm saying, I've just felt like a victim,
Mhm.
and you're not going to get what you want if you think that life, the universe, everything's working against you. And that was how I was feeling until I started changing my mindset and sharpening my mind and focusing on what it was that I wanted, and seeing that, okay, I haven't tried everything. There's so many other things. There's unlimited possibilities of the way that this can work. And I started really seeing myself succeeding and breaking through that, and just getting rid of the old ideas. And so that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, Practical Law of
Mhm.
Attraction, was because there's so many people that they poo-poo the idea of the law of attraction. They think that it doesn't work. But what they don't understand, and the thing that I really wanted to make people aware of, is that there's many parts to the law of attraction working. I mean, first of all, you have to have some sort of very disciplined, focused, specific desire. I mean, it all begins with that. Otherwise, if you don't have a particular thing that you're going for, you're just manifesting by default. You're just
Mhm.
manifesting. I mean, uh, nothing concrete in the imagination. It's just sort of like blowing in the wind and blowing in the wind, and just allowing the whatever gets thrown at you to be your reality. We can
Mhm.
create our own reality, but we have to decide, we have to choose, we have to commit to a reality. And so that's the desire, and we have to have our thoughts focused on what it is that we want. We have to be imagining and visualizing what it is that we want. And we've got to have our subconscious mind in alignment with what we want. And most people, that subconscious mind is the hardest part, because we have limiting beliefs that we're not even aware of. We're
Mhm.
not even aware. I didn't know that I had limiting beliefs. I didn't know that my limiting beliefs were telling me that it's just work hard, work harder, work hard,
Mhm.
work harder. And, that's all I ever heard my parents say. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. And so there was, and I realized later on, it's not about working hard. It's about working smart,
Mhm.
and getting your mind programmed to bring you to bring you the success is working smarter. It's getting yourself into alignment with that. And so I wanted to give people the truth that it's not just all about this praying to a magical genie out there to have your wishes come, but it's about working on yourself. You need to be in alignment with what it is that you desire to create. You need to grow yourself into the person that is ready for those outcomes. And
Mhm.
so that's why I wrote my book.
Mhm. And when someone is starting out their journey, basically what they're doing is, if someone is watching this interview right now, he may be thinking, that I really want money. Like it's my desire. I really want to be, I
Yes.
really want to become rich. But I'm trying everything. I have tried every different courses out there. I've tried every business out there, but I'm still not able to reach my desire, even though I want it bad enough, right? So, to those
Yeah.
kind of maximum population out there in the world, what would you like to say to them? What advice would you give to them?
Well, number one, I believe that money is a tool. All right. So we have to, why do you want the money? Because that's not a, so many people want money. I mean, it's like the number one thing that you hear that people want. But
Hmm.
the thing is that you don't really want money. You want the thing that you believe money is going to do for you. And so we need to get really, really clear on what it is that you believe that money is going to do for you. That's the thing that you ultimately want. Some people want to be rich because they believe that they're going to attract their ideal dream relationship, because they believe that they need to have that money in order to support having a
Hmm.
wonderful woman in their life. Some people want a lot of money because they believe that money equals success, but what they really just want is they want to feel successful.
Hmm.
Some people want a lot of money because they believe that it is going to bring them happiness. And the thing is that, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've had a lot of money and I've had not a lot of money. And, money doesn't make you happy. It just absolutely, it can give you a temporary sense of satisfaction. It can give you a temporary feeling of comfort, but money creates new problems.
Hmm.
And so, in and of itself, money isn't really, I mean, if somebody just gave you a suitcase of money, now all of a sudden you have a whole new set of problems. And people that have money have problems, people that don't have money have problems. You know and it doesn't change anything, except for just gives you a whole different level of problems. Ultimately, it's not a bad thing. Now, that on the other end of the spectrum, some people are afraid of having money. They're afraid that it's going to mean that they're selfish, or that they're greedy, or that they're evil, or that they've um, so there's two totally opposite sides of the spectrum. And so it really just comes down to not making money your goal, but making the outcome. Ultimately, in order to attract anything into our life, we have to be in a certain state of being. It's about, who do you want to be? That's what it really comes down to. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in the world? What is your contribution that you want to make? Because most really, when people say that they want money, okay, money buys things. It buys, you know, and it can help you to to get to where you want to be. It's just a vehicle, really, though, to get you to that place. So you got to figure out what is that place for you, and who do you need to be in order to get there, and then the money shows up, or the way shows up. Sometimes it's not even money. Sometimes it's just that you attract the right people that bring you to your ultimate destiny. And so we have to change the way that we view money as being the end all be all ultimate end thing that we want. We have to just view it for what it actually is. It is just a vehicle, it's just a tool. It is not something that it is the end all be all goal.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Right, that completely makes sense. And you know, for everyone who's watching this show right now, um, what is the difference between consciously knowing that you wanna, you wanna become something or you wanna have something, and what is the difference between that and actually, attracting that into your life? Like I can probably say you that everybody wants money, right? Everybody wants more money. But the fact is that a person can only have money when he truly believes that he can have it, right? So
Yeah.
so what is the difference between knowing what you want and versus attracting what you want?
That's a really good question. So there's a knowing, but usually one before you get it into the belief system, if you want something really badly, okay, and you don't have it and it's not in your belief system to have it, it's going to generally cause you to feel a sense of attachment. So like it's like you say, okay, I really, really, really want this thing. But if I don't get it, I'm going to be really disappointed. I'm going to be really frustrated. And you feel that angst, you feel that anxiety about it. You feel that like, and what that is it's a fear of not having it. It's a fear that you are not going to achieve that goal. And so as long as you feel that attachment to it, like you have to have it, um, you're not going to have it. It's like it actually
Mm,
chases it away, that attachment. And so the difference really between consciously wanting something and knowing that it is being manifested for you in this moment is that you have the ability to let it go. You have the ability to be in a state of, I'm okay with what's happening right now. I'm present. I don't have this fear that it's not coming. I don't have this anxiousness. You just know that it's coming. And if something happens in your life that makes it look like it's going to take a little longer, you're okay with that. You're not worried about it. You're not
mhm,
fretting that. You're just here in the moment, and you're more focused, I would say, on this present moment than you are about getting to the result. The more you keep worrying about the result, oh, it's getting pushed further away, the more you are pushing it further away by observing that. You just say,
mhm,
okay, and you allow yourself to realize that maybe there's a reason why it's not happening exactly the way that you want it to happen. We I believe we have a choice over ultimately creating, in the realm of what it is that we want, and getting pretty close to that very specific goal that we want. But sometimes I would just say the universe, or our own being, our own internal spirit, our subconscious, has a different plan for you. And that plan could be even better.
mhm,
You know, I was in a point with my relationship with my husband, just as an example. So I wanted to get married. I wanted to get engaged to my husband. This was, obviously many, many years ago. I wanted to get engaged, and I had set a date by which I felt like we should be engaged. And I started doing all these visualizations and everything about that. And this was back in, I want to say, when was it? When was that? Oh gosh, why can't, oh, we got married in 2008. So I would say like 2007, early on in that year, 2007, early on in that year, I had set a goal date by when we should be getting engaged. And so I was visualizing, visualizing, visualizing. And then all of a sudden, he comes to me one day and says, I don't see us ever getting married. And I know that that's something that you want, but I don't see that ever happening. So I don't know what's ever going to push me over the edge to make that happen. But I just, we can hang out, we can be boyfriend, girlfriend, but I'm just letting you know, I'm just being honest with you. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And so I was so strong in my faith in the universe and the law of attraction that the law of attraction wanted me to have what I wanted. And the way that I took that was, it's just not him. It's just not going to be him. And so I just said, okay, I guess that means that, it's over. And so I broke up with him immediately, and I just let it go, completely let it go. And I started changing my visualization to, I am manifesting my soulmate. And I just kind of like blanked out the face. I blanked, I just said, this is the person that I'm attracting. And I just kept my visualization going, but just changed the picture. And within about 3 months after that, he came back and he proposed to me. And he said, I don't know what I was thinking.
Wow.
And I mean, he did know what he knew what he was thinking. He was just scared, and he just didn't want to go down the same road as his parents, who had gotten divorced, and go through all of that. And so that it was a limiting belief within him. And yeah, so I mean, I completely let it go, though. I was
Mhm.
I was ready to allow someone else into that. And so sometimes the result that we want, even though it's this very specific result that we want, sometimes that result can look like it's not going to happen. And we have to be willing to kind of be present and go with the flow and do what the universe is guiding us to do, because it might have a better idea in mind. If I had hung on to that relationship, if I stayed and settled for that and
Mhm.
thought, okay, well, I'm going to make him love me, I'm going to make him want to marry me, things would have never worked out the way that I wanted them to. We would have been stuck in this relationship that I was settling for at that time. And so obviously, the universe had something better in store. He needed to have that experience in order to fully appreciate what he had with me. And so to me, it turned out even better. I had to go through that painful breakup in order to ultimately get what I wanted. And I had no idea that was going to happen. I mean, there was a part of me that kind of thought that could happen. It's possible people do come back, but I wasn't trying to influence that at all. I remained open. I kept my vision, but I kept it a little blurred. It was a little blurred, and eventually it did bring me what I want. So that would be my answer to any type of situation. If there's something out there that's just not happening yet, the money, you got to like let it go. You got to like not say like I'm never going to have any money, but you got to let go of the how it's going to show up. You got to
Mhm.
focus more on why you want that. Focus more on the feeling that you want, and focus on getting yourself into that high vibration. And that vibration is going to attract a way. It's going to attract the how. That you have to let go of the how it's going to show up.
Mhm. And Victoria, talking about the limiting beliefs, how do we actually
Yeah.
recognize them, and then how do we actually remove them from our subconscious mind?
So that's a really good question. So, number one, to remove the limiting beliefs, we have to become aware of what they are. And so, for that, I do recommend doing some silent meditation or listening to a hypnosis program that is designed to help you to get in touch with what those limiting beliefs are. So, you take your specific object out there and you say, okay, what is limiting me from having this? And your subconscious mind, if you get deeply relaxed enough and you ask yourself these questions, your subconscious mind will present you a whole list of reasons why you can't have it. Like if you say to yourself, okay, I'm just going to manifest this now. Listen to the listen to what comes up. No, you can't. You can't do that.
Mhm,
That's not possible.
mhm,
So, so you want to like just listen. You have all the answers inside of you. They are all there. You have to be able to put yourself into a state of mind where you're receptive to hearing what those beliefs might be that are impacting you. And once you have your list of beliefs, once you know what they are, you can start to actually um, challenge them and ask, well, how long have I believed this? Where did I get this belief from? Is this really true? Is this true for everyone? And when you put these ideas, these beliefs that you've held under a magnifying glass and really scrutinize them and question them, they begin to not make any sense. Like I've been thinking this down deep inside. I've had this belief that it's not even mine. And so you're able to much more easily just let that go. And you want to begin to replace that belief with some new beliefs, some new positive affirmations that are designed to get the thing that you wanted to create in the first place.
mhm. And you just mentioned about the affirmations, right? And I have actually seen a lot of people making the affirmations. Like, there was my friend. I showed him the Law of Attraction, the Secret movie, eventually, and we went through that, and it was like we got a secret. We have something now that will change our entire life, and we were all happy and stuff. So he went home and I went home, and we wrote down all the things that we wanted, you know and we wrote a lot of affirmations and all that stuff, and we started practicing it. But at some point, the affirmations we thought is not kind of working for us, because um you know you know what I mean, right? Even if we have all those affirmations written down on the paper, we keep reading it and it doesn't work, right? So if someone is writing an affirmation, what does he actually needs to be careful of in writing those affirmation? How should he actually write the affirmation that it works for him eventually?
That's a really, really good question. It's really powerful because that is probably one of the most misunderstood aspects of using the law of attraction is
Mhm.
writing affirmations. So you basically write these affirmations. I am a millionaire. I am thin. I am beautiful. I am all of these things, right? And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you try to, say this affirmations,
Right.
but you don't you're not a millionaire. You're lying to yourself and
You
you're
cannot
saying
connect
something
with
to your
that affirmation, right?
exactly. There's as many times as you say I am a millionaire, there's the other voice in there that's saying no you're not. No you're not. No you're not. And then nobody likes to be lied to, including yourself. And so here you are, you're basically saying something to yourself that's not true, which is tearing apart your whole integrity, how you actually talk to yourself. You just lie to yourself. And so affirmations in that regard don't really work. What we have to do is we have to stay. So an affirmation is to if affirm something is true. So we need to affirm something is true. And so many people, they kind of like lose sight of that is the meaning of it. So we have to affirm what is true. What is true related to this goal that I'm working on.
Mhm.
And so like let's just bring it back to the money thing, since I know a lot of people want to make money. So what is true in the realm of being a millionaire? Okay. Um, I love having a lot of money. Okay. I love the idea of millions of dollars in my bank account. That's
Mhm.
true, right? I'm
Right.
affirming that I love the idea of having millions of dollars. Now, it doesn't matter exactly how you say it, because what you are doing is the idea is millions of dollars. So you want to make sure that your affirmation is on the topic of what it is that you do want to create. Like you wouldn't want, so the opposite of having $1 million is, being dead broke, right?
Mhm.
So a person who maybe is new to this, and they're focused on the fact that they're broke, and they say, I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be broke anymore. Well, guess what? You're just telling yourself, I want to be broke, because that's the idea. The word in the sentence is whatever that is. You have to bring up the idea of broke in order to to say I don't want it. So you want to make sure that your affirmations are, number one, they're true and believable. Number two, they are on the positive intention that you want to bring about. So getting back to the millionaire statement, there's so many different ways that you could affirm that as being true. There are, how many people are millionaires in the world? There are many millionaires, and I can be one too.
Mhm.
And so it's an undeniable truth. You're giving to yourself. There's millions of millionaires. There are millions of millionaires, and so I can be one too.
Mhm.
And these are the affirmations that actually affirm something to be true. And so that those are the main things. You want to make sure you're not lying to yourself. You're saying something that's true, saying something that is believable, saying something that is focusing on the positive, and saying something that is in the present moment. So you don't want to say, like, someday I'm going to be a millionaire. Why? Because as long as you say someday I am going to be a millionaire, every day that you say that is is the present moment.
Mhm.
And so it's always going to be out there. It's always going to be someday, and today never comes.
Mhm.
So it could be like today. Today could be the beginning of uh, my receiving millions of dollars into my bank account. Today could be the beginning of that. And there's just millions of different ways that you could come up with new sentences, but they need to, the whole point of affirmations is to make you feel good, to make you feel happy, to make you feel the way that you would be feeling had you received that result. And so if your affirmations are not making you feel good, then you want to
Mhm.
you want to create ones that do.
Mhm. So let's just say, for an example, if a person is making an affirmation is like, I am making a lot of money. Now, when he go
Hmm.
back, he looks into the mirror, he instantly realize you're not making a lot of money. Stop lying to yourself, right? But
Yeah.
if we change that with the perspective, something like, I am free to make a lot of money, will that work?
Yes, exactly. So we just want to like almost like I am making a lot of money is too strong
Hmm.
and not believable. And so it could just easily be and I mean if you are already making a lot of money, great.
Hmm.
You want to keep saying that and that'll keep that in
Hmm.
your existence. But if you're not yet there, there's so many little filler words that you could use to say, I'm willing to make a lot of money. And you also, a lot of money is can be an issue. We want to get very specific because a lot of money, what does that even mean? I mean,
Hmm.
how do you illustrate that to your subconscious mind? A lot of money, I mean, it could be finding $20.
Right.
And so if you you've completed that goal if you find $20 that day. So maybe it's I choose to earn a six figure a year income, or I choose to earn seven figure a year income, or whatever that is. So you want to be a little bit more specific, but you want to lighten it up as far as I choose to, I'm willing to, I'm free to, I love it when, and those kinds of words are going to help that to just become more believable.
And you know what? The idea behind this is what I realize a lot of people when watch that movie, or they got to know about law of attraction, I think they took it a little, in a little bit of wrong way, because
Yeah,
what basically are they trying to do is that they're trying to tell themselves a list of lies that they don't even believe, and in the end they said that the law of attraction does not work, right? And that
yeah.
completely makes a lot of sense.
And here's the thing. I mean, I loved the movie The Secret, but before I saw The Secret, I already had an understanding of how the law of attraction worked. And so the when I saw it, I was able to, I guess, fill in a lot of the blanks. And there was and I didn't even realize that I was doing that as I'm watching the movie. Like I'm like, yay! All of a sudden now everybody's going to know about the secret. They're going to know about the law of attraction. And it didn't really occur to me as I'm watching it and I'm feeling good about everything that it's like, yeah, there is actually a lot of things that they don't really discuss that not everybody understands. And
Mhm.
and it really actually creates a lot of anger in some people because they take it so verbatim that exactly the way that they explain it in there, you're kind of expected almost to fill in some of the missing pieces that are not there, but people aren't familiar with that
Mhm.
concept, and so they're not filling in those missing pieces, meaning like, yeah, you not only need to believe it up here in your conscious mind, but you need to believe it down here in your subconscious mind. And that's easier said than done. Like
Mhm.
that's a big deal right there. I mean, believe, they said believe, right? But
Right.
you don't really believe it. You think that you believe it because what the thoughts are circulating on the conscious surface part of your mind, but you don't really believe it. If you did believe it and if you were totally in alignment, then you would have it. And when you do line up with your vibration, the way that you're feeling, I mean, think about it. Like the people that have tried to use law of attraction, they got frustrated, they got disappointed, they got anxious, they felt fear. And they're like, why isn't it here yet? Why isn't it showing up? And they demand for it to show up. And they feel resentful and they feel angry that it's not here yet. And they
Mhm.
feel impatient that it's not here yet. Well, all of those feelings are a vibration that you are sending out that are not going to attract what you want. They're only going to attract things that are on that vibration. They're going to attract more frustration, more disappointment. Your mind is so set up that whatever you are focused on, whatever you're feeling, it's just like a mirror. It's just going to bring you more of the things that validate you being in that state of mind and that mood. And so it, of course, you're going to just continue to attract more things that are going to frustrate you, more things that are going to cause you to feel doubt,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, because I think this was much needed. Like, it was really
Yeah.
needed by a lot of people out there. And Victoria, so now we're at the position where we know exactly what we wanna, what we desire, and then now we also know what affirmation we should make, right? Now, in that process, is emotions and is feeling is playing a part in that affirmation. Like, do we also have to use our feeling? Like, do we have to believe in it? Like, it, let's just say, for an example, if a person is saying that, like an affirmation, I'm free to make a lot of money now, right? So during the day, during his whole day, does he have to keep feeling the way that he feels when when he says the affirmation? Or is that he says the affirmation in the morning and then just completely forgets about it? Like, how do you get around that?
Yeah, so the whole point of saying the affirmations is to generate a feeling. And so as often as you need to, like, I have a desire statement right now, and in my book I actually help people to make a desire intention and gratitude statement. And so the
Hmm.
whole point of that exercise, and I have people repeat it throughout the day, once in the morning, once in the evening, and about 8 times in between, so for a total of 10 times. And in a way, that's like doing your affirmations. It's just a little more concise of a way of doing it. And but the whole point is that every time you say that, it's reminding you of what it is that your intention is, and it's
Hmm.
helping you to amp up those feelings. And so yes, you do want to kind of remind yourself of it, and but you don't want to, when I say remind yourself of it, you don't want to be dwelling on it,
Hmm.
like when I say dwelling on it, it's just like, oh, when's it gonna come? Like, it's not, so you want to just, um you want to be able to trust and believe that this is really happening. And the more that you say it, and the more that you visualize it, and the more that you feel it, you are going to start to believe it more and more. And once your subconscious mind gets on board with you having that, in the exact same way that it's on board right now with you not having it, it's
Hmm.
going to get on board with you having it, and it's going to cause you to see new opportunities that you didn't notice before. It's going to cause you to meet the people that maybe are there to help you to bring that into fruition. It's going to cause you to take the actions that maybe you were afraid to take before, and now you're able to go for it and do the things that you need to, the actions that are in alignment with you getting that, the inspired actions. And so yeah, getting back to your question, it's very important that you do feel that, because feeling is the key to believing and taking action.
Hmm. And Victoria, can you tell us about the books? Like, can you tell us exactly what your book has and how it'll actually help them use the law of attraction correctly?
Yes, absolutely. So I have my book, Practical Law of Attraction. Align yourself with the manifesting conditions and successfully attract your desires. So that's the
Mhm.
whole title there. And what the book breaks down into 5 sections. In the first couple of sections, I just go into a little bit of like explanation of how the mind works, and explaining the difference between your conscious, subconscious, and just a few different theories we go
Mhm.
into. And then we get into the laws. We get into the law of um, expectation, and we get into the universal laws and all of that. In the core of the book is in section 3, and in section 3 we get into the 8 manifesting conditions, which are desire, thought, imagination, um, belief, feeling, vibration, creative attraction, inspired action, and the manifestation itself. And
Mhm.
so I teach all of the concepts and all of the things that you need to actually do on how to align yourself with each of those 8 manifesting conditions. But I want you to think of the manifesting conditions almost like, like 8 gears all around like one main gear. And
Mhm.
if you had like this little gear thing, and you have them all wrapped around that, if you've got one or two that are not in alignment, it's going to slow things down. It's
Mhm.
just going to, and it might even grind things to a screeching halt. But when you have them all working together, then they work beautifully together to ultimately get that machine, that manifesting machine, moving in the direction toward what it is that you desire to create. So I give you all of the tools, all of the explanations, everything. It's probably like one of the most, it's, you know, um, I mean, I'm just told, I didn't even know when I wrote this book how well received it was going to be. And it's just me telling people what I know, what I've known for the last 20 years to work and to be effective. And some schools of thought will say, yeah, there's 3 steps to the law of attraction, there's 5 steps to the law of attraction, there's 16 steps to the law of attraction. For my experience in actually manifesting things, I mean, I've broken that down and I've figured out that it really does come down to those 8 things. And if it's really common sense stuff. Nothing in my book is airy fairy. I don't expect people to buy into magical thinking. There's no magic to this at all. This isn't like, oh, I hope that this happens. I mean, everything is really designed for you to create exactly what you want to create. And all you have to do is just follow the instructions in the book. They're all laid out. And I even have a course. I have courses. I have my audio book, but I have my I was going out, in 2019 and touring, and we were doing this live and helping people live to through my manifesting intensives.
Mhm.
And of course, coronavirus happened, and so we can't do it live right now. And so we've been doing the manifesting challenges online.
Mhm.
And so we have a group of people that are working on these concepts and bringing to fruition what they desire to achieve. So it's done over 8 weeks, and over each of these sessions, we actually dive really deep into each of these concepts and really get it. There's homework between. It gives you time to really work on yourself and work on aligning with
Mhm.
that manifesting condition. And it's amazing. It's fun, and people are on fire and they're happy right now, even though we've got crazy lockdowns. And I mean, things are opening up again, but
Mhm.
there's still a lot of bad things going on out there. But we're focusing on something different right now. We're focusing on creating a wonderful life, and people are able to take their focus off what's been going on out there, put their focus on creating something amazing. And so that's what's going on with the 8-week manifesting challenge and my
Mhm.
book.
And if we want to join your challenge, how do we do it?
Yeah, so the web address to join the challenge is
Mhm.
lawofattractionintensive.com/online. Hopefully we can put a link
Right, we can
in
do
the
that.
comments.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's lawofattractionintensive.com/online. If you just go to without online, it's going to bring you to the old live version, but this is the online version. And just right now, because of coronavirus and because I am really sensitive to the fact that people, might have some money fears and financial fears, I'm giving this class for over 50% discount. So it's normally, $497, and right now I have this special coronavirus discount where I'm giving it for $300 off. So you can get it for
Wow.
197. 197. Yeah, so it's a really, really, really good deal.
Mhm.
And
That's
it's life
amazing.
changing.
Right,
It's
exactly.
absolutely life changing.
Mhm.
You do this, and then you're going to have access to all the recordings, all the meditations, the worksheets, everything that we do. You're going to have lifetime access to it because it turns into an online course that you get access to.
Mhm. So, well, long story short, if anyone who buys this right now and they start working with you and they really put their focus in this, it's like they'll change their life, right? They're gonna get
It's
everything that
life.
they always wanted.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to take during this manifesting challenge, we're going to take I want you to come in with your hottest goal that you want to achieve. Um, and we really just want to focus on just that one goal
Mhm.
and get and I help people to get really specific about that and really clear on having that and then getting into alignment with each of the conditions that are going to help bring that into fruition.
Mhm.
And and it could be a goal that you achieve during the 8 weeks, or it could be that you get to a certain point in those 8 weeks on what it is that you ultimately want to achieve. And we have people from all different walks of life. Some people are working on health related goals, losing weight. Some people are working on manifesting their soulmate. Some people are working on starting a business or coming up with a new way to earn
Mhm.
income. And so it's all there for you. And it's, like I said, I mean, it is a life changing experience. So, I mean, you are going to grow out of this experience and have something that you'll be very happy that you had uh, invested this time,
Mhm.
energy, and money in yourself.
Right. And I will also put the link for everyone who's watching this right now, so they'll be able to get this at a special price, which is $200, of course. And I can make, I am definitely sure that it's going to change everybody's life, whoever um, gets into the course. And in the end, Victoria, what do you think about the mission that we are on right now? The Unstuck Mindset show is on right now.
Oh, I love this mission. First of all, I just love helping people. And
Mhm.
I particularly love helping people to have a more positive, well-rounded mindset. And, the thing is that so many people, like you heard my story, you get a good idea for a business or whatever it is. And, it's great to have all these tools that learn how to build websites or learn how to hire people or learn how to do all. You've got a great idea, but you really have to have the mindset. And so I love that you are bringing together people that understand that and are on board with your mission to help more and more people to strengthen their mindset. Like, this is my way of doing it, but I'm sure you have a lot of other wonderful guests that you bring on that have all different ways of strengthening the mind and empowering yourself and having the confidence and having the motivation to really go for it. And I love what you're doing, and I love helping people to go for their dreams. And
Mhm.
so I how could I not really support that?
Mhm. Well, thank you so much for once again to accepting this invitation and helping us on this mission. I'm really glad that I have you on the show. And thank you so much for being here. And it was amazing to talk to you, and it was really life-changing experience for me as well. And thank you for all the knowledge you shared.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and I really wish your guests lots of success in all that they do.
All right.